Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Menace Rides. And in this episode, we tackle something that's been collecting way too much dust in my barn, and that's the Kawasaki GPZ 500S. Stay tuned, let's get this bike together. Okay guys, so in this series of the Kawasaki GPZ 500S, we are going to be restoring her. It was a crash damage category N bike here in the UK. You can see all the fairings are broken. The indicator is just hanging here. It's been stood in my barn for about 2 years. I've just finished charging the battery and we hope she starts. So before we get into it, yeah, that doesn't look cool. That's going to change. Need a new number plate. Needs a complete refresh. Okay. This is the nice side. That looks alright. Obviously it's missing its mirrors. It's full of dust. It's got 27,000 miles. Not bad for the year model. This is a 2004 model. This handlebar is bent. And obviously it landed on its side. If you have a look here, it's way too close to the tank, so if you put your fingers in there, you're going to crush them on turning. So that needs to get sorted. For comparison, you can see where that stops. I've got a whole gap there, which is fine, and the other side is not. So we need to sort that out, guys. A lot of work to be done. Actually not too bad, just a good cleanup. Before we do any work on it, obviously we want to make sure that she runs, starts, and does what it has to do. And if it passes that test, we'll proceed with an oil service, oil change, and then a wash, a clean, and a strip down. So let's get into it. Kawasaki GPZ 500S. Right, so first things first, we're going to make sure our fuel tap is on. There we go. That's fuel on. Key in the ignition. Will she start? First start in 2 years, guys. Right, let's go to choke. Still got the old manual choke. Let's pull the choke on a little bit. It's probably going to be loud because I'm missing a exhaust silencer, but let's go for it. Woohoo! That was a start, guys. This engine is running. And I can show you, this is an ice cold engine. I can hold the exhaust pipes. This is literally a cold start in 2 years. So here we go. She's coming around. Pull that choke a little bit. Maybe it needs to get some fuel. Right guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to let it idle for too long. I don't know the condition of the oil. I don't know if it's got oil. I don't know if it's got water. We know it starts. It's a good starting platform for us. Makes me more motivated to get this done. And I think it's going to be a sweet ride. So stay tuned. I hope you like this episode. And again, if you like the content, like, share, subscribe guys. I'm going to do an oil service on this bike now. So I'm going to drain the oil, replace the spark plugs, replace the air filter, have a look, and then start with a good wash down, get all this years and years of dust off this bike. I think just with a wash it's going to start looking better, and then from there we can start with the repair on the fairings and the cosmetics. I think that's basically what this bike is going to be about. Bring it back to a shine.
guys, so we have officially serviced the motorbike. We've got new oil, new spark plugs and air filter. I started up again, double check the oil levels all good. Let's give this bike its first wash in at least 3 years. So, let's do this. First wash in 3 years. Hello again, guys. So the GPZ 500S is all washed up and stripped down with no fairings, no seat, and all the stickers have been stripped off the side of the fairings. Bike serviced and started and tested. Sounds good. I have to now. I'm not buying any parts for this. By the way, guys, a replacement fairing or nose cone fairing for the GPZ 500 is about 300-400 pounds, and you still have to paint it and you still have to try get a decal kit for it. So for the value of the bike I'm working on, and if I want to sell it for a profit, I did get it at a reasonable price. I think we're just lucky that the motor sounds good for now and all of that, but with respect to the age of the vehicle, it's 2004 model. So it is the upgraded Kawasaki GPZ. They've stuck to the same shape throughout, I think since 1987 all the way through to 2009, somewhere there. And this is a 2004, and what's nice about the 2004 model is that it's got the dual disc brakes in the front and the rear, where the predecessor had a single disc in the front and had a drum brake at the back, and a couple of small differences, but aesthetically they're all pretty much the same. But again, coming back to the fairings, I'm going to try my best to repair this. I know it looks horrible, but I have got a good plastic welding kit, and we'll try our best with that, I suppose. Let's see. The idea is not to spend too much money on it, because it's not a bike that's going to bring back a high return in terms of value, so we'll save where we can. I'm going to get welding. Okay, so our fairing has been plastic stapled together all the way through, all the way up here, all the way on the inside there. You won't see that, but anyway, it was cracked all the way on the outside. It was basically falling apart. It was hanging on by a thread here, but that's all been stapled, and I mean that's proper, that's job done. That's as sturdy as it can be. I mean, if you're going to fall with the bike, it's going to break again anyway, but it's the nature of it, and we've saved our fairing, guys. So this is how she's going to look. And there we go. Woohoo! Wap wap. Motorbike. Nice. Okay, guys, so with the fairing waiting for the epoxy to dry, I'm going to start taking the rear wheel off. What's handy on these GPZ 500s is that they've got a center stand which frees up the back wheel. The wheel adjuster bracket at the back here is completely shot, so it needs to come out anyway. I want to take this rear wheel out to start cleaning up on this the rear swing arm, just tidy it up and make it look good. So this is a size 24 on this side, the main union nut, and a size 17 on the other end of the axle. So we'll get that axle bolt removed, get the rear wheel removed, and we can start cleaning up our swing arm. Alright, so we use a rubber mallet on the axle bolt. Just remember, you're going to have wheel spaces that are going to fall out, and then your caliper is also held in place together with the wheel, so all that's going to come apart. Come on. Alright, there we go. So axle, push the wheel forward and pull the. Here we go. That gives us a chance, guys, to have a look at our bearings, make sure there's no play. Actually, these look pretty new. Definitely, these have been replaced. So wheel spacer there. And also give us a chance to check our rear sprocket cushions. That's these guys inside here. Look at that, that's a brand new bearing somebody's put in there for us. Awesome. Absolutely no play in that back bearing. These all look brand new. They've still got the little dabs from the molding, so nice. Gonna get my hands dirty, it is what it is. Access to our rear swing arm. I'll get this out of the way, I'll get the chain out of the way. There we go. I'll give that all a nice clean sand up, prime and paint, and we should be good. Nice. Decided to refurbish these guys. I put a little bit of high heat paint on these, sanded them down, and they are ready to go back in. I just thought it's, well, while it's out there, let's just do it, right? Into spec, and we get this wheel back on the bar. I just think that looks a bit better than what it was, man. That looks awesome. Nice. I'm going to tighten this all back up. The reinstallation is the same as the removal. This has got a 2-piece key. That's obviously the speed pickup sensor that's in the rim. It's a cable sensor, so this can only go back one way, and you need to double check yourself, make sure that you align it properly, and you clip it in, and that's it. So I'm going to get fastening on all these and get this wheel back on that bike and get the other disc back in, and we'll bring you guys in later. Right, I thought I'd just show you what's happening around the workshop. We've got that front wheel sorted. We've got our front shocks nicely redone while we were waiting for things to dry. We thought we'd tackle those. Front shocks are looking good. I touched up the paint on the nose cone stay bracket, looking fresh. And I have also sanded and repainted these bar ends over here. Obviously with time they get scratched and damaged. There's that one, there's that one, all looking fresh. I still got to do the calipers. It's got a little bit of a scratch here and at the front there by the master cylinder or the clay. There we go.
Obviously all that's still going to get nice and refreshed. But look at our setup, guys. I just did on a box of nuts and bolts, that's great. You see the bike's off the floor. Our swing arm's looking fresh. And we've got those planks. And we've got the bike. So our bike is literally floating on the center stand and on those planks. Anyway, I'm gonna struggle and get that front wheel on quickly, and I'll take it from there. And just like that, besides the brakes, our front wheel's back in. Okay. Another thing I must warn you about is on the speed pickup, there is a location pin on the left-hand shock absorber, and there is a groove on the housing of that speed sensor, and you need to line that up so that your speed sensor doesn't spin with the wheel. Just remember that on these older bikes. Okay, with our axle bolt back in place, we can now put our 2 pinch bolts back in. That's one left, one right. I've already done the right hand side. Again, guys, almost all parts of the motorbike where there's a high vibration, you're going to want Loctite, so we can't emphasize that enough. Yeah. Just remember, I'll say Loctite, it can be any thread lock that you're comfortable with using, that you're happy with. There's a lot of other makes out there, so maybe you prefer something else, but I've got Loctite and that's what I'm using. Never had an issue. There we go, so we just pinch these 2 bolts up after you've tighten up your main axle bolt, and that sort of prevents that from spinning loose, so that's a precaution. And that's our wheel. I'm gonna get our calipers back in quickly and drop this front end because I don't like it sitting like that. Again, even on the calipers I would use a drop of thread lock on each fastener. There's 2 per caliper, just a drop on each. These brake pads look awesome, I must say. I have double checked them. The rear pads need to be ordered though. They are looking pretty sad. Okay, just line up the holes. And there we go. Repetition on the left hand side. Obviously just tighten these down with a size 10. That's what. There you go. That's the right hand side done. I'll get the left hand side done. Right guys, so I'm done with the front end. I'm going to show you what this workshop looks like and what I need to get cracking on. Let's have a look. I've got things lying over there, fairings. These all have epoxy waiting to dry, so I'd say it will be proper hard within the next 24 hours or so. We've got headlights, we've got a tank, we've got a rear wheel, we've got a seat, we've got a windshield, we've got a belly fairing pan, we've got a mud guard, we've got everything happening here guys. I've got tools lying around. That's what the bike's looking like so far. Front wheel back on, nice and spiffy. Again, bar ends are sorted. Our rear subframe is looking fresh. And it doesn't look like much now, but it's all slowly coming together. All our tools are lying around. There's the main fairing. I've had to put it at an angle just so that the epoxy would stay where I wanted it to stay. We've repaired up here with the epoxy as well. We've done the plastic staple welding, and I'm just reinforcing it to make sure that it is good. So it all looks a little bit dodgy right now, but it's because that epoxy is liquid and I need it to stay in certain places without pouring or oozing out. Our workbench is looking busy. The center seat and fuel tank brackets been refreshed in the meantime. That's where we sprayed our discs, obviously. You can see that. Actually looks pretty cool. Anyway, guys, if you like the way this build's coming together on the on the Kawasaki GPZ 500S, sorry, it's, yeah, too many bikes lying around. Stay tuned, and I hope you like this first episode. We've done a lot. We've got the fairings off, we've got the bike serviced, we've got fairings repaired. They just need final sanding and prepping and spray painting. Hopefully that goes well. Once that's all done, we can start getting this bike back together. I've now got to wait for rear brake pads, unfortunately, but at least we took it off, we had a look, and we know we need to replace them, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So before that rear wheel goes back on, we'll probably have the fairing sorted. But otherwise guys, like, share, subscribe. It's been awesome. Keep it real and peace out.